Over time, humanity has gone through several major revolutions. First, the mechanical revolution during the Industrial Age, where machines transformed manufacturing and transportation. Then, the electronic revolution, which brought advances like computers and telecommunications, followed by the information revolution, driven by digital technologies and the internet, connecting the world and transforming industries. The next big shift is expected to be the era of biological computing, where we harness the power of biology and living organisms to process information in ways far beyond current computers. Molecular fluidic computers signify a groundbreaking shift in how computing systems function. Instead of using electrical currents traveling through silicon chips, these systems rely on chemical reactions and fluid flows at the molecular level. Imagine tiny channels where molecules, not electrons, move to perform logic operations. This opens new horizons for creating more compact, energy-efficient, and even self-healing computers. Future devices could resemble living organisms, adapting to their environments and self-repairing, making them ideal for the challenges of the next century's technology needs. While reaction-diffusion networks, which rely on chemical reactions and the movement of molecules, can also perform basic computation, they are harder to control and less efficient for complex tasks. Biological evolution proved that DNA provides a more reliable and scalable way to perform computations, making it a key component in more complex molecular computing systems. In traditional computing, electrons flow through silicon circuits to process information. Molecular fluidics computers, by contrast, use flowing molecules within fluidic channels to perform similar operations. Think of it as a system of intricate networks where molecules interact like water in pipes, creating computations through chemical reactions rather than electrical impulses. This shift could lead to groundbreaking advancements in creating devices that are not only smaller and more efficient, but also able to adapt and self-repair, resembling biological systems in their flexibility. Imagine a network of water pipes transporting information. In a molecular fluidic computer, molecules flow through channels similar to how water moves in plumbing systems. Valves control the flow, just as molecular gates regulate chemical interactions to process information. Each droplet represents a piece of data carried from one point to another, much like electrons in traditional circuits. This analogy simplifies the concept of molecular computing, emphasizing the controlled movement of molecules as they complete complex computational tasks in a similar way that traditional computers manage electronic signals. In molecular fluidic systems, chemical droplets act as the functional equivalent of logic gates found in traditional electronics. Instead of using electrical signals, fluid droplets interact to perform logical operations such as and, undergone, and not. This fluid-based computation replicates complex electronic logic, but at a molecular level, offering a novel way to perform calculations through controlled chemical reactions. This concept of chemical computation is a breakthrough, paving the way for systems that compute with molecules rather than electrical charges. In molecular fluidic computers, chemical reactions serve as the equivalent of mathematical operations, like addition or multiplication. As molecules react, they undergo state changes that represent the data being processed, much like binary bits flipping between 0 and 1. This sequence of molecular reactions functions like an algorithm, generating an output through a cascade of molecular switches. This process offers a highly efficient way to compute at the molecular level, with the potential to revolutionize data processing through more energy-efficient and adaptive methods. Think of molecular computation like following a recipe. Just as ingredients are mixed to create a dish, molecules interact to produce computational results. The molecules in a fluidic computer act as the ingredients, while the chemical reactions between them are akin to mixing those ingredients. The final dish represents the output, where the combination of molecules delivers processed information. This cooking analogy simplifies the idea of molecular computation, making it easier to visualize how molecular interactions can generate meaningful results. The Belousov-Jabotinsky BZ reaction demonstrates periodic oscillations in chemical states, resembling the regular cycles of a clock in traditional computers. These oscillations can represent repetitive computational tasks, creating a rhythm that drives molecular fluidic operations. The Bees reaction also encodes different information states through frequency and amplitude variations, allowing for dynamic information processing. This self-regulating periodic reaction could serve as a key mechanism in future molecular computers, performing continuous calculations in sync with oscillating chemical cycles. Living systems, such as cells and tissues, possess remarkable capabilities like self-repair and environmental responsiveness. These traits could be incorporated into molecular fluidic computers through bioprocessors, living materials that adapt and fix themselves. Just as a living organism heals after an injury, these bioprocessors could autonomously correct errors or damage, making them highly resilient and flexible for future computing systems. This fusion of biology and technology offers new possibilities for adaptable, self-sustaining computational systems. Consider a robot that can fix itself after being damaged. Living materials, which can autonomously repair and adapt, resemble such self-healing robots. These materials are also capable of evolutionary learning, improving their performance over time and adapting to changing environmental conditions. In computing, living materials would enable systems that are not only resilient and adaptive, but also capable of evolving to meet new demands. This would result in highly versatile technologies capable of real-time self-repair and environmental integration. Biohybrid robots combine biological components with mechanical systems, as seen in the creation of muscle cells on soft scaffolds. These robots can autonomously move and adapt to their environment, mimicking the behaviors of living organisms. The potential of biohybrid robots extends to self-repairing systems and adaptive technologies, where biological cells enhance the flexibility and functionality of machines. This case study shows how biohybrid systems can lead to breakthroughs in both robotics and molecular fluidic computers, allowing for more dynamic and adaptable systems. DNA computing taps into the natural processes of DNA molecules to perform logic operations and store vast amounts of data. By encoding information in the sequence of nucleotides A, T, C, G, scientists can create systems that function much like modern computers, using DNA as the medium for computation. Unlike silicon-based systems, DNA has the advantage of self-assembly and parallel processing, enabling the processing of massive datasets at a molecular level. Harnessing nature's code in this way allows for the possibility of ultra-efficient, miniaturized computing systems, revolutionizing the field of information processing. DNA is often described as a string of beads, with each bead representing a nucleotide, A, T, C, or G. Rearranging these beads changes the instructions encoded in the DNA, much like rearranging a program's code in a computer. By manipulating these sequences, scientists can design molecular machines capable of solving complex computational problems. The analogy highlights how the structure of DNA can be repurposed to create programmable systems that mimic computer logic at a molecular scale, allowing for highly sophisticated, customizable operations. In DNA computing, strands of DNA function like logic gates, the fundamental building blocks of any computational system. Instead of electrons flowing through circuits, DNA strands hybridize and react to create outputs based on specific inputs. For example, an AND gate could require 2 DNA sequences to bind before triggering a reaction, mimicking how electronic AND gates function. This biological logic enables DNA to process information in a way that is not only efficient, but also scalable, with the potential for solving highly complex problems that traditional computers struggle with due to limitations in parallel processing. DNA computers can simulate decision-making processes, even playing games like tic-tac-toe. By encoding game rules into DNA sequences, scientists have demonstrated how molecular interactions can represent the logical steps of a game. As DNA strands hybridize, they simulate the progression of game moves, akin to how traditional computers calculate optimal strategies in games like chess or checkers. This playful application of DNA computing showcases its potential to handle complex, decision-based processes at the molecular level, making it a strong contender for future computing innovations. Nanotechnology allows for the manipulation of matter at the atomic and molecular levels, enabling the creation of structures with unprecedented precision. Imagine being able to move individual atoms like building blocks, constructing new materials and devices atom by atom. This ability to control matter at such a minute scale paves the way for advances in molecular fluidic computers, where atoms and molecules can be precisely arranged to form the intricate circuits and components required for fluid-based computing systems. This technology could lead to new breakthroughs in fields ranging from medicine to quantum computing. Nanotechnology can be compared to building with Lego blocks, but instead of plastic pieces, atoms and molecules are the building units. Just as Lego bricks can be assembled into complex structures, atoms can be pieced together to form nanomachines and molecular circuits. This construction process enables scientists to create functional systems on a nanoscopic scale, unlocking the potential for molecular devices that operate in environments too small for traditional machines. This modular approach offers the flexibility to design a wide range of nanoscale technologies, from medical devices to computational systems, capable of revolutionizing how we interact with the microscopic world. Microfluidics deals with the manipulation of fluids at a microscopic level, where channels and systems no wider than a human hair control the flow of liquids. In molecular fluidic computers, these microfluidic systems act as the foundational infrastructure for controlling molecular interactions. Like tiny rivers flowing through a landscape, the fluidic channels guide molecules to interact in precise ways, enabling complex chemical reactions. This technology allows for the creation of lab-on-a-chip systems, miniaturized laboratories capable of performing advanced chemical and biological analyses, with significant implications for the future of computing and medical diagnostics. Microfluidic systems can be likened to miniature river networks where molecules flow instead of water. These rivers transport information with their flow regulated by engineered channels that guide molecules to perform computations. Just as water flows through a network of locks and channels in a dam, microfluidic systems control the flow of molecules, directing them to interact in specific ways. This precise control over molecular movement is critical for enabling molecular fluidic computers, which rely on the movement and interactions of molecules to process and transfer data. Microfluidic chips are an example of how computing can be miniaturized to an extraordinary degree. These tiny chips, no larger than a fingernail, can carry out complex chemical reactions and process information through parallel streams. Their ability to handle multiple reactions at once, while using significantly less energy than traditional electronic computers, makes them a highly efficient option for future computing systems. With their compact size and energy-saving properties, microfluidic chips could be the foundation for portable, real-time molecular computers capable of processing vast amounts of data on the go. Living materials are more than just novel constructs. They represent a fundamental shift in how we think about materials science. Unlike traditional materials that require external repair, living materials can autonomously repair themselves and adapt to their environment. These biological components, such as cells, allow for materials that can evolve and respond to changing conditions, making them ideal for use in everything from self-healing structures to adaptive computing systems. As living materials become more integrated into technological systems, they will provide unparalleled resilience and flexibility, heralding a new era of dynamic, self-sustaining technology. Imagine a typical bridge. Over time, it cracks and breaks, requiring teams of engineers to repair it. Now, picture a future where bridges could heal themselves, much like how your skin repairs a cut. That's the idea behind living bridges, made from advanced materials that can detect damage and autonomously fix it. These materials have a cellular structure that allows continuous regeneration, adapting to changes in the environment. This revolutionary concept could lead to more durable, sustainable infrastructure that requires far less maintenance. What if buildings could heal themselves? Researchers are developing living concrete made from bacteria mixed with materials like sand. This concrete can grow and repair its own cracks over time, just like a living organism. With self-healing properties, this material could dramatically change the construction industry, reducing the need for repairs and making structures last longer. Plus, because it's made with natural materials, living concrete is more sustainable, paving the way for greener, more resilient buildings. The future of computing is hybrid systems, technologies that blend molecular fluidics, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. Molecular fluidics uses the movement of tiny molecules to process information like a miniature chemical lab on a chip. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence optimizes these systems, helping them make smart decisions, and quantum computing brings incredible processing power for solving complex problems. Together, these technologies could unlock new levels of computing power, creating systems that are faster, smarter, and more efficient. Think of a hybrid supercomputer like a futuristic machine with 3 powerful engines working together. Artificial intelligence is the brain, making decisions and optimizing the system. Quantum computing is the engine, handling complex calculations that would take normal computers forever to solve. Finally, molecular fluidics is like the efficient energy system, using chemical reactions to process data without consuming much power. This combination creates a super powerful, energy-efficient computing system capable of solving the world's most difficult challenges. Molecular fluidic computers could revolutionize medicine. Imagine a device that analyzes a drop of your blood and instantly detects diseases by identifying specific biomarkers, like digital bloodhounds hunting for clues. These computers could also simulate drug interactions far more accurately than current systems, speeding up drug discovery and making treatments safer. In the future, personalized medicine could become the norm, with molecular computers optimizing your treatment plan based on your unique biology, providing tailor-made healthcare solutions. The next green revolution might come from molecular fluidic computers. These systems could analyze soil in real time, helping farmers understand exactly what their crops need, whether it's more nutrients or adjustments in irrigation. They could also optimize the use of fertilizers and pesticides, making precision farming even more efficient. By modeling how crops grow under different conditions, molecular computers could help farmers make better decisions, increasing yields and reducing waste, all while being more environmentally friendly. Molecular fluidic technology offers incredible solutions for the environment. For example, molecular sensors could continuously monitor water quality in real time, detecting pollutants before they become a major issue. Nanoparticle filters could clean the air by adapting to the level of pollution. Hybrid computers could even simulate complex ecosystems, helping scientists understand and predict environmental changes. These technologies promise a cleaner, healthier planet by providing better tools for environmental protection and management. Scaling up molecular fluidic computers comes with some big challenges. First, controlling chemical reactions in tiny systems is tricky, but doing it on a larger scale is even harder. Then, there's the challenge of integrating these new molecular systems with existing technologies, like traditional electronic computers. Finally, standardization, creating universal protocols that all molecular fluidic systems can follow, is necessary for widespread adoption. Solving these challenges is key to making molecular fluidic computers a reality. Building a small molecular fluidic computer is like building a simple Lego model. It's relatively easy. But scaling it up is like building an entire Lego city. The more pieces you add, the more complex it gets. And when you try to connect different types of Lego sets, or in this case, different computing systems, it becomes even more challenging. Connecting molecular fluidic computers with existing electronic systems is one of the biggest hurdles researchers face. It's like trying to fit two incompatible Lego pieces together, but the reward could be an entirely new level of computing power. Right now, molecular fluidic computers are still in their early experimental stages, but their potential is huge. In the near future, the integration of artificial intelligence and quantum computing could make these systems far more capable, allowing them to handle more complex tasks. Looking further ahead, scientists envision fully autonomous, self-repairing molecular computers that could revolutionize industries from healthcare to environmental management. The journey is just beginning, but the possibilities are endless.